Hey, this is Izzy for Rolling Virtual Cards, coming at you with another Magic the Gathering EDH Commander Top 20. This time we're looking at the Top 20 Best 3 drops. Let's get into it. First off, we got Frantic Search, 2 blue for an instant. Draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards, untap up to 3 lands. So, this is, in and out of itself, technically speaking, a -1, right? So you're using a card to not gain any cards. Actually, you're using a card to gain 2 cards and lose 2 cards. So that's a -1 there. But it's free, right? Because you get to untap 3 lands off of it. It's also an instant, so you can hold it up. And on top of that, it can turn into decent interaction. When you frantic search on your opponent's turn, let's say they're going for a win, or a big play, something that you need to stop, you can frantic search for 3, dig 2, discard 2, there's a counterspell, untap 3 lands, counterspell. Very awesome in that regard, does a lot for you there with digging. And a reminder, unlike some other card games that don't have resource management, a lot of card games nowadays do have them, and there's a reason for that. Because Frantic Search, although technically is a -1 in card economy, you are ditching 2 cards that are either not useful at the time because it's not the right quarter of the game. Like it's a board wipe. You don't need a board wipe right now, right? Or you're dropping a card that you can't play. Cool, it's an awesome 6-drop, but it's turn 3. I don't need that right now. Great way to dig. Awesome way to kind of push. And look, this card's banned in Pauper and in Legacy, okay? That says something to you, okay? It's banned in Legacy because it's really easy to loop. So, awesome card. If you're in blue and you're just like looking for a quick way to dig a little bit more, Frantic Search is great for you. Up next at 19 is Windfall. I am a huge Windfall fan. Let's zoom in just a little bit more here, guys. There we go. Windfall is 2 blue, just like the previous card. And this is a sorcery. Each player discards their hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discarded this way. So this is used in a lot of different scenarios. The bottom tier of this when testing is you just assume you use it when you have like less than 5 cards. Or just a bad hand, and you're going to draw 5. Usually in a pot of 4, someone had 5 cards in hand. The top of this is like you have like 10 cards, 15 cards in hand, because you've just drawn a lot. It's your turn, you're like, this doesn't win me the game. Let me play the few things that do. Windfall, we're all going to draw 15 and go for it. You can also lock people out using Narset in this card, and any deck that runs either mill out or is a wheels deck, or your commander likes to see your opponents draw or you draw, Windfall is going to be great there. So not only are you getting an interesting card to be pushed here for just like generic draw support, right? Again, if you're in blue and you're like, I just need to make sure that I have a hand, this is 3 cards to give you a better hand. The pits with this card, the downsides of this card, and what people realize about it is that when you use Windfall, you do have a chance to give your opponents more answers or a win con, right? If you have 5 cards and one opponent has 7 and the other 2 have like 2 and 3, you are giving them more cards. Okay? But overall, I think it's just a really useful card to use and fun in the overall landscape of Commander. Next is Herald's Horn. This is 3 generic for an artifact. As Herald's Horn enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creature spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card of the chosen type, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. This is tribal. This is just here, or I guess Kindred. Is that what they called it? I think they swapped tribal. I don't remember the terminology. I think it's Kindred. And so the idea with this is in kin decks where you're running all the same creature type. Your goal is to just like, this not only reduces the cost of them, but it also gives you more card advantage. And it's good card advantage because it's not card draw. It's just putting it into your hands. You're not going to trigger any draw effects off of that. Honestly, if you're running a Kindred deck, I think that's what they called it. That's when I just put the card in the deck. It's a great 3-drop, reduces the cost of your creatures, and allows you to get a little extra card advantage there. Up next is Ashnod's Altar. This is 3 generic for an artifact. Sacrifice a creature, add 2 colorless. This card is one of the more synonymous cards I think people think of when they think Commander and combos, right? There's a lot of combos with this where with reanimating specific things, you can keep casting them off of Ashnod's Altar. But even just aside from the combos, the engine you get with this with a commander that can create tokens is crazy. Because it turns any of those creature tokens you're making off your commander into more mana, which you can then use to do more stuff. Now it is colorless, so it's better in colorless or low color decks, or even especially like artifact based decks where you can definitely use that stuff to cast bigger things. But overall, it's either like if it's in your deck, you're either using it for a combo or your deck can produce enough tokens and enough mana to push, and enough usage for the colorless mana to be able to produce more stuff off of it. Next is Garruk's Uprising. This is 2 and a green for an enchantment. When this enchantment enters, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. Creatures you control have trample, and when a creature you control with power 4 or greater enters, draw a card. So this card does a lot, and that's one of the things you'll see in a lot of good cards. If you're ever looking through new sets and you're wondering, is this card good? If it has a lot it's doing, chances are there might be a place to play it in some format, one of these here formats. So here, this is 3, and it enters and you draw a card, so it replaces itself. You're not gonna play it in a deck where you don't have creatures with power 4 or greater. Usually this means your commander is power 4 or greater. So you play this, draw a card. Next, it's going to give all your creatures trample. This is already useful if you're going tall. Having all your creatures have trample is just a useful thing. Makes it harder for them to get blocked. And then lastly, when a creature with power 4 or greater enters, draw a card. That's the last one that you really want to make sure you hit. Okay? The first 2 are like upsides. That last one's the point of the card. If it's a high power deck, all your creatures, or most of them, are power 4 or greater, and you're just going to be sitting here drawing a bunch of cards. And so that's where Garruk's Uprising just really gets to be shown as a great card. Next is Phyrexian Arena. This is 1 and 2 black for an enchantment, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Classic way to just draw cards. This is, after 1 rotation, it pays for itself, and after that, it just nets you. So the game goes longer, you draw more cards. But like even like if you get this out turn 3, and most games you play last to like turn 7, it drew you 4 cards, right? On turn 4, 5, 6, and 7. If your games are lasting till turn 10, then it just drew you 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just drew you 7 cards. So that's where Phyrexian Arena comes in. It's not great the higher the ceiling goes. Well, actually, it's not even the higher your ceiling goes. I think it's not great the more differentiating your power levels are. If you guys are like all at 2 or all at 3, you really get this nice feeling of, yeah, we're all going to be able to stop each other, and the game might last longer, so I'm going to draw more cards. Whereas if some of you are 4s and some of you are 2s, someone's going to be able to win overhead someone, and you're going to run into an issue. But if you're all high power and you're all running counter spells and slowing the game down, the longer the game goes on, the more cards you're going to draw off of Phyrexian Arena. Next up is Deflecting Swat. So Deflecting Swat is 2 in a red for an instant. If you control your commander, you may cast a spell without paying its mana cost. And you may choose a new target for target spell or ability. So this card is essentially a red counter spell. It's what red does. Someone goes to remove a creature you control, you can redirect it. Someone plays a card that says target player draws 5 cards and they target themselves, you can make it target you. So there's a lot of things you can do specifically with Deflecting Swat. And as long as your commander's on the field, it's free. So that's free protection for your commander. It's a great card. There's a reason it's expensive. I don't like running it just because I don't like free spells in commander. I just find them a little... I guess, like, yeah, if I'm running a high power or a CEDH deck, I like it. But other than that, I just don't like running free cards. But it is a 3-drop overall, so... Next is Jessica's Will. This is 2 in a red for a sorcery. Choose one. If you control a commander as you cast the spell, you may choose both. Add a red mana for each card in target opponent's hand. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. So this card is legal in commander, but it is on the Game Changer list. So that means if you're you don't play unless you're in a 3 or higher. Is it worth playing there? Yeah, this card's fantastic. It's one of the greatest red cards out there, right next to Deflecting Swat. For 3 mana, you're usually choosing someone with 5 cards in hand or more. But if it's 5 cards in hand, that does give you a nice plus 2 mana. So that's 2 extra mana to use. But it is 5 total that you get to use, and then you get to exile the top 3 cards, and that's just gonna let you dig further and find some stuff that you can and can't do. Is it good casually is where, like, I sit on it, right? I'm just sitting here going, okay, casually you're playing against people, they have 5 cards, you could dig 3 deeper, and you're just gonna play those cards. So I like it casually. I think it's fine. I don't think it's too broken. It is a game changer though, so I guess enough people think this card does push too far. And I guess the height of this is like if an opponent has like a bunch of cards, or like running this in a Hugs deck where like they've got like 10 cards. Now you're going top 3, 10 extra mana, let's do some stuff. Could get gross. But honestly, I don't think it's that broken. I could see it coming off the Game Changers list at some point. I just don't think it does a lot. I think it's okay. This plus a Wheel of Fortune can be kind of fun though. It's 6 mana though to pull that off. But then like if you draw into this off of the Wheel of Fortune, then you get to add 7. But then you're only netting 1 mana. So even then it's not the best. So I guess it punishes your opponents for drawing too many cards. But that's not the end of the world. Yeah, I think having more cards to punish people who want to advance is not a bad thing. Like, you want a lot of cards in hand? Sure. You want to keep those cards by having no maximum hand size? Fine. But this is a card that punishes you for doing that. Let me catch back up. I guess, like, early game, though, it can help big wins. And I think that's where the Game Changer list comes from. I think it's that early win possibility where, like, you ramp out fast and you play this turn 1 and you get 7 mana into your hand and you cast your commander, and the top 3, you cast your commander with it like super early because you have 7 mana, you drop your 7 drop. That's where it can feel bad. That's the feel bad right there. So that's where it's a game changer. Teferi's Protection is 2 and a white for an instant. This is a notorious commander card. Until your next turn, your life total can't change, and you gain protection from everything. All permanents you control face out, which means they just cease to exist. And then you exile Teferi's Protection, so you can't really reuse it. But this is just a get out of jail free card. If you're in white, you run it. It's expensive, but it's not expensive because it's used in anything other than really just casual EDH. It's just a white card that says, don't touch me. You can still lose the game to people who play cards that say I win. You just can't be touched. And so it's synonymous. And this card's way too expensive. And Therefore, falls on the just proxy it, guys. I don't want to see you out there buying a $40 plus card. Just proxy it and have fun. But put it in your white decks. It's very useful. Next up is Fierce Guardianship. This is 2 and a blue for an instant. If you control a commander, you may cast a spell without paying on a cost counter target non-creature spell. Game changer. It's a free counter spell. If you've seen any of my other videos here on this playlist, I don't like free counter spells casually. I think they're needed, high power and competitively, but not a fan of them casually. I think they're just a little bit too much. Hence why they're in the game changer and can only really be used in tier 3, 4, and 5. In those tiers, though, it's great. Is it worth putting it in your 3? See, that's a good question. That's what you got to ask. Is this worth being the one of like the 3 that you run? If you're set on a combo and Fierce Guardianship is just that free option to prevent them from stopping you, that's not a bad idea. I could see where that would come in handy. And I would probably say run this before you run a tutor, because I don't like tutors. Even in 3s, I'd rather just not. So, yeah. It is good, though. Like, obviously, all these cards are good. Next up is Toxic Deluge. Toxic Deluge is 2 and a black for a sorcery. 2 and a black for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, pay X life. All creatures get -X till end of turn. So this card is a board wipe for 3, which is really good. You can technically save your creatures if you have the highest toughness, but the coolest part about this is it is -X, so it does remove indestructible creatures. So this is one of those cards that can get rid of like indestructible hexproof creatures. Indestructible hexproof / shroud creatures. This just removes them. And it's not counters, so it's not putting counters on something. So, very useful. Probably like the best board wipe in the game. Next up is Eternal Witness. This is classic. 1 and 2 green for a 2/1 creature human shaman. When Eternal Witness enters the battlefield, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand. There's just so much. So this is a body that hits the field and just adds a card to your hand. But on top of that, it's repeatable. Any flicker deck can be flickering this to just add cards back to your hand. There are loops with this where you can infinitely loop this with like a lightning bolt, so you can infinitely lightning bolt people. So it's in combos like that. But like that's where the best combos are. A combo card that also just happens to be useful. This is a 2/1. So any creature deck is great, and just using it to go, oh, let me just grab this card and add it back to my hand so I can reuse it. Very useful, very good. If you're in green, put the card in the deck. If you're questioning what doesn't test well, these types of cards never test well unless you actively push the concept of running against removal. If you do that, then this card always is good, because it always grabs you something back that you're missing. And it doesn't just grab a permanent, it's any card. So you can just grab back your Rampant Growth and ramp again. Like on the worst end, it's a land ramp for 5. Next is Chromatic Lantern. This is 3 for an artifact. So there's a lot of these cards that I honestly want to talk about that I'll do later that are just 3 mana rocks. But Chromatic Lantern is one of the most popular. It's just 3 for an artifact. Land you control can tap for any color and tap for any color. That's the upside. I love this in any 3-color or more deck. I don't like running 3-color mono rocks in 2-color or less decks because you can just run the colorless ones. But in 3 colors or more, this fixes your mana and just makes you not have to worry about what you're tapping. I'm glad that it's finally affordable for people to just buy. It used to be a lot more expensive than this, but very good, very useful. I honestly push people to, if you're in 3 or more colors, just toss it in the deck. You'll enjoy it, seeing it hit the field. Next is Generous Gift. This is a classic removal spell. 2 and a white for an instant. Destroy target permanent. Its controller gives a 3/3 elephant creature token. The token doesn't matter. You're removing something that's even more problematic, and it's a permanent. So this is hitting anything at instant speed, stopping them from winning, and hey, look, you get an elephant. There's your nice little constellation prize. I'm generously gifting you an elephant. Oh no, it squashed your thing. Here's the thing. You're going to see this 3 mana, and you're going to think, well, I don't want to run 3 mana removal in my deck. I want to run 2 or less. This hits anything. Just put it in your deck, stop questioning it, and you're going to enjoy having at least something that can hit anything for the most part. That's not hexproof or indestructible. Next is Rhystic Study. This is on the Game Changer list. If you are in 3 or if you're power 3 and you're like, what do I add for my 3 or more? And you're in blue, put Rhystic Study in there. Rhystic Study is the best card in Commander, probably. It is one of the only cards that have the best wording in Commander, which is whenever an opponent casts, or whenever an opponent. That is the key phrase you're looking for. Commander is a game of 1 versus 3. You versus 3 other opponents. When you have a card that triggers off of all 3 opponents, that's going to give you the most. And Rhystic Study does the best, right? Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may draw a card unless they pay 1. So this is going to trigger constantly off of everything. Do not buy it, it's too expensive. But there's some really cool art, honestly, of this card. That's just gorgeous, honestly. But, overall, yeah, this card is insane. There's a reason on the Game Changer list. I don't think it should ever be banned from Commander. I think we need more cards like this that trigger off your opponents doing things to really equalize it. This is a great equalizer. The downside and the reason why it's hard is because it's not an equalizer if you're ahead. It's just getting you further ahead. So designing more cards like this that equalize you and get you back into the game could be kind of cool, but then they're just not as good as this one. Like a white version of this would have you draw cards if you have less cards than that player. So like they have 5 cards and you have 4. So insane card though. Kodama's Reach is up here, and there will be another one above this too. It's 2 and a white or 2 and a green for Sorcery Arcane. Search your library for 2 basic land cards, reveal those cards, put 1 in the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, then shuffle. 3 or more colors, this card's great. 2 or more colors, I don't care. Or 2 or less, I'm not running these, they're too expensive. There's better ramp that works for 2 or less. That was my cat, if you heard that. But yeah, what's cool about Kodama's Reach is it just fixes your mana. You use green to cast it, and then you can go grab your red and blue. 1 goes on the field, 1 goes in your hand, and it feels even better if you use it to grab a land while you don't have a land in hand. So you know you can play that extra land. So it's just a great card. If you're in 3 or more colors than green, I'd run it. Commando Sphere, 3 or more color card again. But this does a few things. It's got that draw effect where you sacrifice and draw. But this doesn't cost mana, so this is a loop for any deck that can or either an engine or a win con. If any deck can recast it from your graveyard, you can keep using it to draw cards, or just bring it back from your graveyard to the field. You can keep using it to draw cards, and since you can sacrifice it, you can also use it to keep getting mana. So there's some cool loops with this, and some cool engines that kind of make this card better in a lot of ways. But it's also up here just because it's in a lot of Commander decks, if not all of them. And the precon, so just a good card, honestly. And yeah, it says Commander's color identity, so it taps for any color you would possibly need. Next is Chaos Warp, and this is classic. So this is 2 in a red for an instant. The owner of target permanent shuffles into their library, then reveals cards from the top. Reveals the top card of the library. If it's a permanent card, they put it onto the battlefield. So this gets rid of any problematic card. In red, it just goes, hey, put it away, and now it's gone. And now get something random from the top. A lot of times people say, well, this this really could give them something better. And that's true. It could totally give them something better. But a lot of times what happens here is that you're only using it on something that if they're going to win. So well, they would have won anyway, so I don't care what they get. On the other side is you can use this on a token of yours, like a 1/1 token or a treasure, and just risk it to see if you get something fun, which I've done way too many times. Gambling is way too much fun, and this card does that for you. But overall, it is a red card that removes any problematic card, even if it's indestructible. So it's good. Next is Beast Within. This is just green's version of the Generous Gift. 2 and a green for an instant, destroy target permanent. Its controller gets a 3/3 green beast creature token. Does the same thing. It just removes a permanent. Again, great because it hits any permanent. Next, Cultivate. This is the number 1 3-drop card. Does the same thing as the other one, except it's just in more decks and everywhere. And this is, 2 and a green for a sorcery. Search your library for 2 basic land cards. Reveal those cards and put them into the battlefield tapped. And the other, add the other to your hand, then shuffle. So it's the same thing. It's Kodama's Reach, just with a different name. If you're running that one, if you're running Kodama's Reach, run Cultivate. It's just a great way in 3 or higher colors to just fix your mana. So that is the list of card drops there. All of it's fun. I really enjoy a lot of these, but yeah, that's the list of 20. This one went a lot faster than the other ones because a lot of these are pretty self-explanatory as to why people would be running them. But yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, stay tuned for the next one where we'll be going over 4 drops. And see what you might think those are. And down in the doobly-doo, let me know what your favorite 3-drop is. Peace.